All right, in this video, we're going to look at doing a tip calculator. This will be a coding challenge. This will take into account many of the things we did in our last coding challenge as well. Okay, so let's say that we're going to a restaurant and we have a waitress, waiter, whatever, waitress, and we need to give them a tip. So let's say 5 of us have gone to a restaurant, okay? And we've all ordered and we decided we're going to each pay equally, okay? So we need to determine first what the bill is, how much of a tip we're going to give, what percentage of the tip. And then once we know what percentage of the tip we're going to give, we need to then figure out how much the bill is and how much that tip is divided equally amongst all the people eating, okay? So that's our challenge for today. Pretty simple, okay? So let's see. Let's go ahead and start with a print statement. So we're going to do like, we'll make this a string. Welcome to the tip calculator. Okay. All right. Now from there, go ahead and pause the video. You can do, to make this so that we have the same answer for the first time, and then you can play with it later, kind of like we did in the BMI, is we're going to go with the bill being $150. We're going to use a 12% tip, and we're going to divide that amongst 5 people, okay? So that would be our absolutes here. So I'll go ahead and put that in here. It's going to cost, bill is going to be $150. The tip is going to be 12%. Where's my percent? Where you at? Okay. And divided amongst 5 people evenly. Okay? That's going to be our parameters. So go ahead and pause and see what you can come up with. When you come back, we'll go through the solution. All right, so let's go ahead with the bill first for the solution. Of course, you don't have to do it in the same order as long as you come out with the same answer, okay? So let's start with the bill first. Oops. And the bill will equal the input. A string is something along the lines is, what is the total bill? Space there. We'll put go ahead and put $sign, I guess. So it looks kind of good. Okay. So make sure we close that up. Of course, by now we know for sure that an input's going to give us back a string. So what do we need to do? We're not going to do an integer here because we all know that typically when we talk about dollars, we talk about, $1.47, $10.57. So we usually go about 2 decimal places in when we talk about money. So this is definitely going to be a float. Okay, so we need to make sure that we've changed that to a float. This may be a part that trips somebody up right there. Okay, So let's go ahead and put that as a float. Okay, so let's look at the tip. So now we know how much we've inputted, how much we have. So let's go ahead and do a tip. So this is going to be an input. How much of a tip would you like to give? Okay. Now we've said as a parameter here, we're going to use 12%. Okay. So, but anyways, but that's going to be what we're looking at here. Okay. Make sure we have that closed right there. Now, put 12 in there. What are we going to have? Just like the other one. We're going to have a string. So, since we're going to use 12, we're going to use a whole number percent. Not many people do 12.5% or 13.6%. Most people go 12%, 13%, 15%. So we can go ahead and make this an integer. Keep it simple. Make sure we close up on this end. Okay. So hopefully we're following here. So now we got the bill and we got how much of a tip. Okay. So now we got to add that tip back into the bill, right? Because we're going to pay, the five of us are going to pay equal amounts of the bill plus the tip. So we need to know, we need to have the tip. Hold on. We're going to go bill with tip. Okay. I used camel case there. B, E, uppercase. Bill with tip equal bill. Let's go. Let's right here. Let's go with tip as percent. Need to make this a percentage. Okay. So, because if we're gonna put 12% in, but if we times 12 times our dollar amount, it's we don't want that. We want 0.12, right? So we want tip as a percentage. So we want that to equal the tip divided by, what do we do to get a percentage? 100. So that would give us 0.12. Okay. Since we're using 12, 0.12. Okay. We don't have to worry about putting 0.12 into our input. We put 12. That's how much percent we want. We want to do 12%. But in our program, we want to go ahead and change that to 0.12. And that's what we're doing right now. So that's tip as a percent. So now we'll go total tip amount. Total tip amount is total tip amount is equal to bill times, when you use the asterisk for times, and what? That 0.12, which is tip as percent. And that highlights right there. So we know we're on the right path here. Okay, so that's going to give us a total tip amount. So if it's $100 times 0.12, the tip is 12. Okay, that's what that's going to tell us. Okay. Now we want the total bill. Total bill, which is the bill plus the amount of the tip. So that's going to be the bill plus total tip amount. Okay? Making sense so far? So now we know, okay, so off top of my head, $100, 100 times point 0.2 is $12. 100 plus $12 is $112. What's that divided by 5? Now we need to know the bill per person. So how much is each person paying? So that would be total bill. Okay, highlights, good. Divided by people. Oh, I've got nothing highlighted here. We're gonna have an exception here. We're gonna have an error, right? So what do I need to do? I need to add another input. And this also shows right here, this is all green, so we know what we did wrong here. I did not close my string. So we need this variable. I need to define this variable, which is going to be an input. How many people to split the bill? Right? We go ahead and solve that now that I'm thinking about it rather than having to think about it later when I have an error and I have to find it, right? I wrote people as a variable, nothing lit up. Haven't used people before. I need to define it first. Okay? And now I get to find it using input. But this is going to give me a string. Well, if I'm going to use math right here, I can't use a string, can I? Right? So we're going to go ahead and change that to an integer because we won't have any 0.5 or 0.3% of a person. We're going to have whole numbers of people, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this parameter for this one is going to be 5, right? So not 5.5, not 5.3, just 5. So integer is fine. Make it nice and simple. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and save my progress so far. Okay. Now I'm touching people and people highlights up here. Now I'm good. I defined my variable. Now I'm using my variable. Okay. Now we got to see the final amount. The final amount. This is a little extra here. We could stop already. What I'm doing here, I'm going to say is optional. Just just to make it look right, we're going to go ahead and round this bill per person to 2 decimal places. Okay. I don't think we've covered that. Oh, sugar. Final amount. Oh, I added too many there. Okay. Oh, there we go. Those typos will get you. Pay attention to your editor. It will help you along right there. So the final amount we're gonna round. Okay. So if you look at this is a new function. I don't think I've touched on this before actually. So let's look at this. Round. I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna go ahead and go down here for a second and kind of hit this like this. So this is a round function. Oops. Round function. Okay. It takes 2 parameters. Okay. This one's going to take bill per person. So it's taking the variable. Okay. And then it's going to take the decimal place. Okay. We're going to go to the third decimal place. Okay. All right. So to what decimal place? Okay. That's that round function right there. Okay. That's how that's going to work. Okay. So that's our round function. So up here, that's what we're doing. We're going to round it to two decimal places. We're going to go ahead and save this. Now, if everything is right, we should be able to go ahead and run this. Let me save this. Okay, what's the total bill? Now I said the parameter is going to be that we have $150. Okay. How much would you like the tip to be? I said as a parameter, we're going to use 12%. How many people to split the bill? As a parameter, we're going to do 5. What's wrong? Take a second and see what's wrong. I haven't printed anything out of my console, have I? So it's there, but I can't access it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and F string it. Okay, we're going to go and use this. Each person should pay final amount. Okay, we see final amount highlighted, so we're good there. We spelled it right. Always check that. Okay. So now I closed my, oops, I closed my string. Now close my parentheses for my print function. I'm going to save it. Now let's do it. How much is the bill? $150. How much of a tip? 12. How many people? 5. We should each pay $33.60. Okay? That is how we do that. Now, if you've noticed, still don't have the 0 there because it's not actually there. So that's an insignificant number. So the program doesn't want to go ahead and put that 0 there. Okay? We can make that happen. But to make that happen, we actually have to put it back to a string to print it. So now we're going to take the floating number that we received back in the final amount, or sorry, bill per person, and in the final amount this way, we're going to actually make it a string. Okay? This is a little extra here. You are not expected to know this. This is just something I'm adding to. Same with the rounding part, since I hadn't taught it before. You know, if you got anywhere near 33.6, 33.66666, whatever. If you got 33.6, whatever, you done good. You done good. So go ahead, and what we're going to do is we're going to keep this as a string. So now, right now, it's a string. Okay? So what we're going to do is, I'm sorry, that's not a string. It's a, is a number, and we're going to change it to a string, and we're going to format this string. Okay? Format it to 2 spaces. Okay? Got to use this dot format. Okay? To change this bill per person to the state that it is now. Okay? Now, string, I need to make it a string. Okay? Now, so now I'm going to make it a string. Now we're going to go. Okay? So now have we seen this? So I've made this into a string. I'm going to format this into a string. That's going to give us a 2 decimal places in the format. Now let's run it. Okay. All these little mistakes I'm making is the mistakes you're going to make. Mistakes everyone makes. Okay. Anyone who doesn't make the mistake or doesn't say they look up at Stack Overflow or something like that, they're not telling the truth. This is how this is done. Okay. 12%. 5. $33.60. Okay. And just to prove this point, we're going to print type of final amount. Okay. $150, 12%. How many split the bill? 5. $33.60. Let's make this look as good as possible. All right. 12%. Split the bill. $33.60. And this is a class of a string. Okay. We know how to do these types. Find the types. So this is a pretty big challenge. Most of that you should know. You should get within 33. The rest of it, learn along the way. Picked up some extra stuff that's going to be helpful. Okay. So please like and subscribe and share this video if you found it helpful. And leave any comments below on anything I can do to help. I'm working on my audio, trying to get it better and using a different microphone so that I can give these lessons a little extra touch. So, all right. Well, thank you.